What's up, peeps? Welcome back to Copper Cactus DIY. I'm Jen, and in today's video, I'm taking this plastic frame and turning it into a faux wood framed faux antiqued mirror. Stay tuned because I'm starting this really complicated to say project right now. The entire thing is plastic from the frame to the window piece. I need to take it apart so I can get cleaning for spray paint. Luckily, the backer cardboard is only held in by bendable pins. Wondered why this thing hadn't slumped in all these years. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to do a little more than I expected because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. There we go. 1, maybe. There were those. Underneath. Oh, of course I do. Yep, this is going to be the 7 minutes of boring ass footage nobody asked for. It's the tightest thing known to man. Plastic frame. You definitely need to make that as secure as has ever happened in life. Okay. 36, sort of. There we go. One more, baby. You got this. Come on. Just pop. Please don't break. Ooh, okay, well that was a lot. Luckily most of the sticky stuff is on the acetate. Oh my god, that is a mess. I'll have to clean this and start on that. But now I need to get this frame into the studio to get started. I laid this out on a drop cloth and scuffed the entire surface using various grits of flexible sanding pads. I needed something that could hug these curves and also not totally gouge into the surface. These worked great. I wiped the dust with a wet rag and left it to dry. I used press and seal under the frame, and I saved material there by cutting it in half lengthwise. It's easy to work with since the frame is so thin. So I have this Das clay. This is air dry clay. It's in a stone finish, which I think is going to work really good for what I want to do with this mirror, faux mirror. I've only ever used Crayola air dry clay, if you can actually believe that, which I started thinking about it and I was like, I can't. So I'm trying this for the first time today, which is going to be great. But from all I've watched and heard from friends and colleagues and stuff, this is probably like the standard of air dry clay. I'm going to use this on the outside of the frame, so I'm getting started on that now. It only took me about 30 minutes to do this first part. I thought about doing the whole frame right away, but then I figured if the idea didn't work, I didn't want to waste a whole thing of clay just to test the theory. I smoothed and feathered out the ends, that way I could add clay to match thickness after this dried if it did work. I applied wood glue with a silicone brush and added the clay, being pretty sloppy and smushy to get the look that I wanted. All right, so it's been a couple of hours and it's certainly not dry yet, but it's definitely curing up and drying. It seems to be attached pretty nicely. I did add a little extra bracing here at the corner. Bracing. This is just the wrapper just to hold this corner up so that this wood glue can dry, because it did crack slightly. We'll see if that makes it or not. I'm not going to bring you in for the next like half of this. I think you already saw what I did. I'm just going to get the other half on right now, and then I'm going to leave this to dry overnight, and next thing you see is either going to be me doing spray paint in the garage or painting this thing in here. Before I wrapped up for the day, I used my vinegar and water mix, and I cleaned the acetate on both sides. This is the same mix and water bottle that I'll use when I do this mirror glass effect on the piece of acetate, but you have to hang tight because that's coming up in just a couple minutes. First, I want to finish this frame. After a quick vac and assessment, I saw no issues with the clay, so I was ready to start with my primer. In order to seal the piece and make sure that the clay stays intact and full integrity, I am using this Bullseye 123 primer. It's in a gray shade, and this is by Zinsser. They're the ones who do Bin and all of these terrific primers. I have used this a few times. It's never let me down, and I have a feeling it's going to be perfect for this because it's just thin enough that it should get into all of these little crevasses, but it's just strong enough that it should help hold this clay fully intact. I'm getting started on this now, and yeah, let's just enjoy that with some higher speed action and fabulous music. I left this to dry for the night. In the morning, I got going on my first coats of craft acrylic. I pounced on various shades of brown and cream for coverage. Most, if not all of this, will be covered in the end, but I tried to establish some highlight and shadow areas based mostly on where sun from above the frame might hit these raised spots. I did that on the top and bottom edges as well. There was no real rhyme or reason to my application. I just pounced until I thought it looked okay. That took me about 25 minutes. Then I started on my paint washes using green. I want to get a multi-tone situation going on here, and I used tons of water and very little paint. Have you guessed yet what I'm creating on the outside of this frame? Leave me a comment if you think you already know. Sadly, I went too hard, too fast, and I lifted some of the brown from beneath. I considered scrapping this step and fixing it, but... yeah, so as soon as I turned the camera off, I changed my mind entirely. Instead of waiting until it all dried and starting over, I just doubled down. I just did the entire thing in green. Hopefully you can see that. It's okay. I'm going to leave this to dry now. It's pretty thin, and the other colors are starting to kind of like already come through a little bit. You can see the brown and stuff. This is settling into cracks. That's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm glad I just did it like a big giant paint wash. Now I'm gonna leave this to fully dry, and then I will come in with the brown, the Java, and I will do the same exact thing and then leave that to dry probably overnight. Once the green had dried, I did an overall brown paint wash using a chip brush and the color Java from Folk Art. And then I did leave it to dry overnight. The last step on the frame texture was to add highlights to these raised areas. I dried brushed some lighter tan craft acrylic across the entire thing. This dried for a couple of hours before I could top coat. I used my favorite Modern Masters Dead Flat Varnish water-based top coat. Something to note, however, because I am definitely overworking and overusing this product to get into all these little crevasses, that means it will not dry down completely dead flat. It will have a light sheen. Then I took a few days off to go house hunting. And the frame cured before I even started on the piece of acetate. Okay, I am all set up and ready to start the spray paint part of this adventure. You can see the acetate, you know I cleaned that already earlier, and I've got my kitchen vinegar here. In case it doesn't come out super clear on the video, when I do the high-speed part, I'm going to mostly concentrate in the corners and around the edges in kind of like an oval pattern. And I will do some like spritzel in the middle, but it's not going to be the bulk of where I concentrate the vinegar water. I really want that more around the edges where it would naturally age. Then I'll use my chrome spray paint, and then I'm basically just going to leave this for about 20 minutes to a half hour. It's kind of chilly out here right now, but it's actually, I waited until the one and only warm day in the forecast to get this done. So with that in mind, this might take a little bit longer to start to dry. I don't want it fully dry, but it will be almost dry. Then I come in with some rags, dot up to dry everything, and then I will come in with my darker spray paint. I will apologize for probably screaming, but I'm in my respirator. I wanted you all to see what's happening here. I think I waited like a minute or two too long because there's so many just like bubbles. I'm hoping that pouncing the rag over the entirety of things will help to sort of like make that not look so bad, but like up here, you can really see it. It's okay, I don't really mind. It's an organic situation, so whatever it comes out looking like is probably fine. I have to let this fully dry now for about an hour. My brown spray paint will need 2 coats for coverage, but I only filmed the first. I left it to dry for about an hour, did coat 2, then left it to fully cure overnight. While I put this thing back together for final beauty shots, I want to thank everyone who made it to my premiere. You rock! Also, I want to wish everyone in the United States a happy belated Thanksgiving and remind you to subscribe if you're not already, because next week I'm taking part in the Unique Antique Challenge and you won't want to miss the epic makeover of my last large project of 2025. But this is all the work I've got to share for today, so stay tuned for before and after shots. Thanks so much for being here and watching. Later, peeps!